Welcome to the Chamber's Elevated Conversations podcast. And now, your host, Dave Eckmann.
Welcome to another edition of Elevated Conversations. I'm your host, Dave Eckmann. Today, we're going to be talking with Jamie Polley, the Marathon County Park City of Wausau Parks Director, to get Jamie's perspective as to how the public will access and utilize the parks in the midst of the pandemic and social distancing. And with that, what I'd like to do is introduce Jamie Polley.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
You bet. Jamie, I queued up the beginning of the program with your background as county and city parks director. But what I'd like to be able to do today right now is to help our audience understand who you are and where you're from and talk about the Wausau community. So with that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Jamie Polley. Yep, and I started to be the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Director for Wausau and Marathon County almost 2 years ago. June 4th will be my 2-year anniversary. Born and raised in the area, went to BC Everest High School, graduated from there, went to UW La Crosse for my undergrad, and then Ball State in Indiana for my master's degree. Kind of been throughout Wisconsin in the early part of my career and over in the Minneapolis area for the 11 years before I came back home, where my family still lives. And I have, passion for being here in the central Wisconsin. I have a family now, so I have 2 children, 11 and 8, and happy to raise them here in the community I was raised in and show them what I had growing up. It's a safe, nice community. It's got good schools. So it was nice to bring my family back.
Terrific. So I think what's probably bearing on most people's mind as we move from the spring in towards the summer months is that now we're in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, the pandemic. What, from a parks recreation standpoint, how do you see the 2020 summer parks and pool season moving forward? I know you have a lot of things changing daily, but as you see it right now, what's going to be the best way to access and make sure there's safe environment for our citizens?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it is changing daily. But we have really come to realize that during this time, people really need the parks. And they really need to be outdoors and just to clear their mind, to get some fresh air and some sunshine, as well as, we try to go with the health department's recommendations and guidelines from the state and the local health departments on what we require in the park. So right now, all of the city and the county parks are open to the public, and there are some restrictions in just some of the areas. Boat launches are open and a pass required as always. Pickleball, tennis courts, they just opened, but there are some social distancing requirements. Basketball courts are the only thing that, as far as a sport field or sport area, are closed, as long as our sports fields are closed too for organized sports. But trails are open, all bike trails open last week. Camping is open as of May 1st and very, very busy in our campgrounds. Disc golf is open with some social distancing restrictions. So the majority of our system is open and operational for people to use. With that, we just want to make sure people are abiding by the physical distancing that is required, and that they're helping us keep the parks clean and reporting anything that they see to us, because one of the items in the order is that if we see that social distancing isn't abided by, or that there's vandalism or a lot of litter in our parks, our health department can shut their parks down, and we don't want that to happen because we do think they are critical. Moving into the summer, a lot of the events have canceled. We will definitely be following whatever guidelines are set in place. As of right now, it's the Badger Bounce Back Plan and the different phases that put a stipulation on the number of people in any given area. If, depending upon, what guidelines come about, if that changes, we'll follow those guidelines. But most shelter rentals, big events have been either postponed or canceled right now. So it's more general use. we have a 100th anniversary celebration planned for August. That one is August 15th. We are really hoping that we could possibly have it, but we will follow those guidelines and maybe postpone it till next year. The big one you asked about was pools. We have 3 Wausau pools and our splash pads. And as of right now, the City Council and the County Parks Commission have made it's the City Parks Committee and the County Parks Commission have made a determination that we definitely will not open the first week of June like we originally planned, and potentially we could open July 1st. However, I think I know that will be revisited within the next few weeks and will be revisited no later than June 1st because it's very hard to figure how we would manage the pools depending upon whatever phase we're in. If we are still in phase 1 with 10 people, the pools cannot open because we have 10 guards that we need up. Phase 2 is a little bit harder. Talking regionally with my colleagues in the region, not just Marathon County, but throughout Marathon County and the neighboring counties, really it's more feasible for any of us to open if we were to hit to phase 3 where there isn't any guidelines. Because in phase 2, we have 10 guards up. We'd have to phase in the number of people in the facilities at any given moment. We have some updated cleaning guidelines we have to follow, so it's really up in the air at this time.
Sure. And I think it's really important for the audience to pay attention to some of the things that you talked about, and you mentioned it numerous times, and it's monitoring the phases of progress or the different gates that we can go through. So as things progress, and if things loosen up, you're going to accommodate those changes, and that's a good thing that that you're doing that. And you made a comment, Jamie, about the importance of outdoor recreation. I'm a runner, and I enjoy running the river trail extremely. It's a beautiful trail. If people have not done it, I encourage you to get out, walk your dogs, take a walk, or run. But on that trail, Jamie, is River Life Park. And I know, through a video that we did that your kids and family enjoy that park. And I've seen that park in action. I think for people who haven't seen it, can you just describe why that type of a park is so important for this community?
Yeah, the park that along River Life is really important for the community to explore what the river has to offer. The river is a gem of our city that hasn't been really highlighted until recent years when the city made a conscious effort to improve the waterfront. But it's a accessible playground that has port-in-place surfacing activities for everybody. It's got one of the highest skywalks in the region, so you can get a different view as a child or adult as you climb up there. It's got an adult fitness area and a challenge course. Plus, with the partnership of Bricks being down there, you can always get the ice cream that you want after that run that you take once they open. Now, during this time of the COVID, unfortunately, all of the playgrounds are closed right now, and that's one of the things in the order that needs to stay closed. So I encourage people to get out along the trail and to see what there is, and that as soon as we have the ability to open our playgrounds, we definitely will. I think that is something that the kids are really looking forward to, that right now, by following the guidelines, we just cannot open. And also with that, Bricks may be postponing their opening date just based on the rules and whether they can have the outdoor seating with the ice cream. And if the playground is closed, they may not open until we can open up those playgrounds. But it's definitely a gem, as well as we have JoJo's Jungle going in at Brockmeyer Park, which is a all-inclusive playground. It's a huge amenity that the community is getting. We were hoping to have a grand opening on Memorial Weekend, but with the fact that playgrounds are closed, we will postpone that grand opening until we can open those. But that will be another amazing facility for our families to go to.
It really is quite amazing what this community and this region offers in terms of parks and recreation. And I want to just pivot real quick to a different topic, because you and I and many others in our world of economic development have been working on the Greater Wausau Economic Development Strategic Plan. And outdoor recreation is poised to be one of our top opportunities for economic development. I'd just like to get your take on that from your perspective. You are a young professional. You have gone away and you've come back to this community. Could you just share your perspective on the importance of outdoor recreation today and moving forward?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think outdoor recreation plays a pivotal role in economic development and getting people to this region. We have in the Wausau and Marathon County area some amazing facilities like Rib Mountain State Park, the kayak course, 9 Mile, Sylvan Hill in the winter, the tubing facility, Granite Peak. I think, we offer activities for everybody, for young and old, for families. But also those facilities are able to accommodate some really large events that bring people in from the entire region that can see what Wausau has to offer and want to come here and put roots here and have their business here because Wausau is a hub of this area. There's not a lot in either direction, and people look to us, to those businesses and to those activities. But if we don't have anything to offer our businesses and our employees to do in their off time, they don't want to stay here. So I think it's critical that our outdoor recreation is noticed and that people know what we have, and that they're open and accessible, and that we continue to improve them because we need good facilities that can accommodate those events coming in and those people from outside as well as inside our county to use.
Yeah, that's very important for talent attraction, retention. I'll tell you that I just ran 9 Mile last week on a 5K, first time ever. What a beautiful facility that is. Unbelievable. People need to get out there. In closing, I got one question for you. Who is your favorite, most inspiring athlete?
My favorite, most inspiring athlete is Janet Evans. She's an Olympic swimmer from back when I was in high school. But I'm a swimmer. I've been a swimmer my whole life. And just watching her and her ability to be who she was and the strength she had to win gold medals when she was such a small person and just a really good person at heart have inspired me. It inspired me as an athlete to continue swimming even through college, but just to be good to everybody and to keep working hard.
Terrific. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for your time today. And I encourage all of our audience and our listeners, if you have the opportunity, get out and see the tremendous park opportunities we have throughout Marathon County and the city of Wausau. Jamie, thank you for your time, and be well, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
That was Jamie Polley, the Marathon County City of Wausau Parks Director. Tremendous young talent in this community doing great things. So with that, I want to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This podcast episode is a production of the Greater Wausau Chamber of Commerce.